Bada bing, bada boom. We're recording one more time. Okay, recording has started. So let's go to the last bit of Adobe Premiere that we have to see. And that is title animation. Right. Please bear in mind, this is a little bit of spoiler of the content of the animation block of the course. And it's fairly complex. All right. But I'll try to simplify it to you. Also, the way this works in Adobe Premiere, we don't have as much control as we would have in Adobe After Effects, for example. All right. I prefer After Effects for this kind of job. But since we're not doing After Effects for this course, let's focus on Premiere. Okay. So we have our title right here, love letter, in this very professional style of typography. Okay. And what we have going on here is that text fades in and fades out. Okay, so let's try something different. Let's say I don't want this to fade in or fade out. I want my text to just slide in. All right, so if we double click our text block, and we go to effect controls on this side right here on the top, we can have a look at the controls for the text, right? We can change the font, we can change the text, the paragraph style, the orientation, the color, the background shadow, all that kind of stuff, okay? But if we minimize this menu, we are then greeted with the transform options for the text layer, okay? And the transform controls is what we need to animate it, all right? So you can see here that every option that we have has this little circle right before it, which is a circle that toggles the animation on and off. And this little circle is called a stopwatch. If you look really close, you will see it actually looks like the stopwatch that you just like click, like old stopwatches. All right. So the stopwatch is used to begin and to end an animation. All right. So let's move our time indicator to the very beginning of the text, right here, right where it begins. And then we will turn on the stopwatch for the position, which is this one. Just click. And right when you click, you can see a little dot right here. Okay, right here, this is the ruler that represents the length of your text block, your text clip. Okay, and since the time indicator is right at the beginning, once we click in the position stopwatch, a position keyframe is generated on the first frame of our text clip, right here. Very, very small, and it's like half hidden in the corner. But once we get another one, you can see how it looks like. It looks like a diamond shape. Okay. So we just clicked in the stopwatch and a keyframe was generated. So now let's, with our time indicator right at frame 0, let's just move this text outside of the screen from the top, like so. Then we go forward in time a little bit. Just drag a time indicator forward. I don't know, maybe like 2-3 seconds, and then change the position to bring the text back to the screen. Right here, let's say. Okay. Then once you change this position information and a different point in time, a new keyframe is generated right here. You see the diamond shape I was talking about? Right here. And then once you play, the animation happens like magic. Whoa. Our text is just coming down from the top, from outside the frame into the center of the frame. Okay, it's falling from top to bottom. Because we said that at this point in time, this is the position that we want. And then at this point in time in the future, this is the other position that we want. So you give Adobe Premiere 2 points in time with 2 different kinds of information, okay? So at 0 seconds, my position is A. At 2 seconds, my position is B. So that means Premiere will move your object, your text, from A to B in 2 seconds. Okay? So this is point A, and then this is point B, and they are apart for 2 seconds, which means it takes 2 seconds for this animation to happen. Boom, drops from top to bottom. Okay, now here's the part with physics. So if you remember physics from school, you should remember the formula for calculating velocity or speed per se, and that is space over time, right? You have the space between positions A and B, and that is taking place in 2 seconds. This movement needs 2 seconds to happen. If you want to make it faster and keeping the position as they are, what we need to do is move the keyframes closer together, thus reducing the amount of time it needs for the animation to complete. Now it's only 1 second. Boom, it's faster. If we move the keyframes further apart, it gets slower. Okay? All you have to do is control how close or how far from each other the keyframes are. All right? So let's put them 2 seconds away from each other. Right here. So this is our original control. Boom. Okay. Now, this is only animating the position controls. You could also animate the scale, which is a size. You can animate the rotation, which, well, rotates your text. And you can animate the opacity, which basically just fades in and out. All right. Now, have a look. When I do my scale, you can see that it's going bigger and smaller from a point of reference, and that is on the top of the letter L in my case, right here. This is our point of reference, and that is called the anchor point. You see, it's right here. So just like Photoshop, if you move that over here, then this becomes a new, oh, it messed up my previous animation. So let's just get rid of that first. If you turn off a stopwatch, your animation is gone. All right. Now let's go back to the anchor point. So my anchor point is in the corner right here. So everything that I do to this animation, to this text, every animation that I do will come up from this corner. But if I want stuff to happen from the center, all I have to do is move it right here. Let's say right here. Yeah. This is my center. Okay. So if I want to do an animation with the scale from the beginning, come on, just turn it on. There we go. It's 0. And then we go forward in time and make it 100. So that way the text zooms in from 0 to its original size. Ta-da! Right? Now, we need to just soften up this animation a little bit. You see, once we get into learning proper animation, there's some principles of animation that we need to follow. And the only one that I'm going to talk about in this point in time, in this point in the course, is the slow in and slow out. Okay, this is to basically soften movements of animated stuff. Okay. So think about it. If you have this chair, for example, this is my moving chair. Okay. And if I push the chair, it moves and then stops. Okay. The chair is stopped. Then once I push the chair, it accelerates, moves, decelerates, and stops. This is how all things move. Okay, there's this acceleration, movement, and deceleration, and our animation should have the same. This is how slow in and slow out work. So you have the keyframes right here. Okay, all you have to do, select the keyframe, right click, and then you have easy in and easy out. Okay, so the first one should be easy out, the last one should be easy in. So that way your animation is more smooth. Instead of just going bah! In your face, it goes ooh. All right, let's have another look. Wow. One more time. Wow. So, and then when you do that, your keyframes will change from a diamond shape into a hourglass shape. Okay. So the first one is the easy out, and the last one is easy in. Okay, out, then in. Smooth animation. All right. Have in mind that everything that has a stopwatch can be animated. Every single thing that has a stopwatch can be animated. Okay. If you are in the video, like this one, for example, okay, if you click in the video right here and you go to effect controls on the top, you have a menu for motion control, and that is the same thing that we have when working on text. So for example, if you want to change the position, just mess up with the numbers and bring that up and down or left and right. Same thing with the scale. Zoom in, zoom out. Wow. Okay. So if we're not happy with this framing and we want to change it a little bit, let's change the scale to, let's say, 120, and then reposition our character. Like so. I think that is a better center close-up, right? Show before and after. All right. You can also, of course, rotate your character. Yee-hee! And you can change the opacity as well. All right. So, oh yes, and of course, let's just make this 100. Oh God. There we go. Back to normal. Okay. So you can actually animate all of this stuff as well, right? So if you want to do like a slow zoom in the guy's face, for example, you can just turn on your scale, move forward in time, and just get it closer a little bit. Okay, don't mess up the scale too much, otherwise your video will look distorted, right? Zoom in a little bit. And of course, do not forget to add your easy in and easy out on your keyframes. There you go. All right. If you go to the effects that we mentioned in the previous video as well, let's have a look at the video effects. And then let's get the, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Twirl. So twirl on this guy. So let's turn this one off. Let's turn the opacity off. And then we have the twirl. Okay. So this is a twirl. But if we just do this, then yeah, it will look like this, like terrible. We want the twirl to happen like from the beginning, right? So let's make this 0. Let's add a keyframe, go forward in time, and crank it up. So that way it will twirl gradually. There we go. Then we can actually make it 0 at the end as well. So that way it twirls and goes back to normal. Haha, 3 keyframes. All right, beginning, middle, end. Cool. So, and then if you turn off the stopwatch, all the keyframes are deleted, and then your footage goes back to normal. All right. Here's the guy smiling again. Yeah. Okay. And that concludes our Premiere training. Yeah, boy. Let's stop the recording.